RCR will appeal the Austin Dillon penalty. Kyle Larson says he's better than Max Verstappen, and Kurt Busch gets arrested. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. I realize now that the tone of that cold open was sort of a roller coaster. We'll get to all the racing news and debate in just a moment, but let's start with this disappointing story. Kurt Busch was pulled over Monday night for speeding and now faces DWI, careless and reckless driving, and speeding charges. His court date is set for September 19th. Kurt Busch, of course, is a former NASCAR Cup Series champion, but he has not raced since 2022 when a concussion took him out of the car at Pocono. He officially announced his retirement last summer, but has continued to work with 23XI Racing in various roles. Kurt Busch did release this statement. He said, quote, "I'm very disappointed in myself and I apologize to my family, my racing family, and to my fans. I will work with the authorities to rectify the situation and work with the county to make it a safer place in the future." There's no excuse for driving under the influence and potentially putting other people's lives in danger, but I do hope that Kurt Busch is able to get the help, the support that he needs. I'm not going to pretend I know the man personally, but from the outside looking in, he seems to have been through a lot the past couple of years. He and his wife announced their divorce in May of 2022. Then just a few months later, the accident at Pocono ends his career effectively at least a year early. The recovery process has been long and slow. The man has been through a lot. Still, that's no excuse for putting other people in danger, making such a bad decision, but I still hope he gets whatever help he needs. The news broke last night. It's Thursday afternoon when I'm recording this. 23XI has not released a statement of their own, so I guess we'll have to wait and see what his status with the team looks like going forward. But I just wanted to get that out of the way for some heavy news off the bat. Now let's get things back on track, no pun intended. Yesterday, NASCAR announced that Austin Dillon's win at Richmond will not count towards the playoffs. The driver of the number 3 has not qualified for the playoffs. He was also docked 25 driver owner points. The spotter, Brandon Benesh, was suspended for 3 races. We talked about it yesterday, but what we briefly glossed over was Richard Childress Racing's reaction. They will appeal this penalty, saying in a statement, "Richard Childress Racing is very disappointed in NASCAR's penalty against the number 3 team. We do not agree with the decision that was made and plan to appeal." There's no timetable for when their appeal will be heard, though we do know it will happen before the end of the regular season, so likely in the next 2, maybe 3 weeks. We do know that they won't be deferring spotter Brandon Benesh's suspension. Brett Griffin, it was announced today, will take over as Austin Dillon's spotter this weekend at Michigan. I genuinely wonder what RCR's argument during this appeals process will be. Like, NASCAR's rulebook basically allows them to do whatever they want to do, and Austin Dillon wrecking 2 cars in 2 separate incidents for the win is kind of unprecedented. We've seen plenty of examples of rough, borderline driving, but I don't think we've seen anything quite like that. I side with Jeff Gluck on this one. This compilation went sort of viral on Twitter, calling out NASCAR's supposed hypocrisy. I'm sorry. None of these examples even come close to what Austin Dillon did Sunday night. Driving through Joey Logano from 3 car lengths back, then turning left and hooking Denny Hamlin. Like, come on. Hamlin and Chastain are side by side in that clip. How is that comparable? Oh my God, I love Matt Kenseth, but the guy was blocking the hell out of the 22. Logano didn't need to spin him, but that's not nearly as egregious as what Austin Dillon did. Bait used to be believable. Can we just stop? I get that fans are supposed to be fanatic. They're allowed to be a little crazy. But can we please inject at least a little bit of common sense into this debate, into this discussion? Just a little objectivity? Is that too much to ask, please? Anyway, we'll be really interested to see how this appeals process plays out for Richard Childress Racing. I'd be surprised if the independent panel rules in their favor. Now, this final discussion should be pretty fun. The Olympics just wrapped up. The world's best athletes coming together to participate in a series of events in Paris, France. Got a lot of race fans projecting what a hypothetical motorsports Olympic Games category would look like. What drivers would participate? What kind of cars could they drive? What sort of tracks? Kyle Larson, who just won his third Knoxville Nationals, was asked by Flow Racing if he feels he needs to beat Max Verstappen, three-time defending F1 world champion, to prove he's the best driver in the world. And Larson gave this all-time answer. He said, quote, "Not really. I know in my mind I am better than him as an all-around driver. There's no way Max can get into a sprint car and win the Knoxville Nationals. There's no way he can win the Chili Bowl. There's no way he can go win a cup race at Bristol. There's probably no way I can go win a Formula One race at Monaco, but I think I have a better shot at him doing what he does than him doing what I do just because of the car element. That's what gives me ease and confidence that, I know I'm better than him. Maybe not in an open wheel Indy car or Formula One car, but that's one discipline. I think I would beat him in everything else." You can quote that. Ooh, and yes, everyone has been quoting this. I love the confidence. And let's be honest, he's punching up. Max Verstappen may be the most successful race car driver on planet Earth right now, in his prime. The amount of money he's making, the wins, the championships, the run he's on, the fame, the fortune. Larson's not picking on some small fish. He's going after the biggest shark in the ocean. The only problem with Larson's comments is that talk is cheap, and we likely never will see Max Verstappen and Kyle Larson go head-to-head on an even playing field. But I guess hypotheticals can be fun. I agree with Larson's assessment. You put Verstappen and Larson in an open-wheel car, Verstappen probably wins every time. Karting, anything like that, advantage Max Verstappen. But you go oval racing, especially on dirt. Anything on dirt, Kyle Larson is going to win. And heavier cars, I think Kyle Larson has the advantage. He's won NASCAR road races, he's won the Rolex 24, so he's a pretty sporty road racer himself. If I were to put both drivers on an even playing field, that might look like, I don't know, maybe like a sports car, maybe like an LMP2 car at the Daytona road course or Le Mans or something like that. That's kind of a blend of what they both do. I feel that would be fairly even. I think it'd be a competitive race. Everyone loves to refer back to that Race of Champions clip from 15 years ago when Carl Edwards, some guy from Missouri, beat Michael Schumacher head to head. Maybe Kyle Larson would surprise some F1 fans, but we'll likely never get to see this, so talk is cheap. It's a fun hypothetical. I will say I like Kyle Larson's comments because they do highlight one of NASCAR's and really all of American racing's greatest strengths, is that American racing is so versatile. NASCAR especially, the schedule, road courses, street courses, super speedway, short tracks. Used to have a dirt track. These drivers come from so many different disciplines. You have short track asphalt guys, you have dirt track guys. Shane Van Gisbergen is an Australian supercars champion. Juan Pablo Montoya is going to race at Watkins Glen in a couple weeks after a few years away. The versatility of NASCAR, the tracks, the drivers, is one of its greatest strengths. I think that's one of its best selling points. And Kyle Larson's comments, while bold, I think bring attention to that, and that's a good thing. Let me know in the comment section below, if you put both drivers in a sports car at the Daytona road course, who wins? I know I'm speaking primarily to a NASCAR audience, but who do you think is the better all-around driver, Max Verstappen or Kyle Larson? Let's light the comments on fire. Just pouring gasoline on it over here. But thank you all for watching. That's all I've got for today. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, subscribe for the latest NASCAR news, rumors, discussion, and more. And a huge thank you to my very generous Patreon supporters as always. If you missed it, I did a video this morning previewing the upcoming Michigan race weekend. Be sure to check it out. I will see you all again soon. Have a wonderful rest of your day, folks.